Hey everybody, this is Presto.
Purple message.
And you have a spoon. And you are listening to episode number 40 of the Nintendads podcast. Today's episode is, we're talking about you filthy casuals. No, we're talking about the role of casual games and casual gamers in the video game industry. Are they good? Are they making good old-fashioned games terrible for everyone? Or they are an important part to the growth and livelihood of this industry we all love? I'm not sure, but I'm sure you're going to hear plenty.
We have opinions.
For both sides. Yes, I will put a disclaimer. Our personal views on this may be a bit exaggerated for the sake of presenting a full argument.
Yes.
On both sides. I'll just say that. I'll just put that out there. Your mileage may vary. But before we get into that, we're going to talk some news. The main news is Kazuya, one of the fighters, one of the main characters from the Tekken series, got added to Smash as DLC. By the time you guys are listening to this, he will be out, and everybody will be crying about how broken he is and how he needs to be nerfed into the dirt. He releases in about 30 minutes from when we're recording this, and we're going to go stream Smash, as painful as that's going to be, right after we record this. He's a combo-heavy character. He looks ridiculous. He actually might be the Bayonetta of Smash Ultimate, meaning once he gets you in a combo, you're just Tostitos, and it's going to be terrible for everyone. Other news, Mario Golf is out, the new Mario Golf for Switch. I wish I could try this game. Corporal looks disgusted about it, though.
I'm realizing that I did purchase Ultimate Fighter Pass Volume 2.
All right, Kazuya, Ikuzo.
It's gonna happen.
What do you think about Mario Golf? Looking at it from afar, I'm mildly curious. I would love to try it, but there's no way I'm buying it.
I was 12. I think I was 12 when my parents bought their first home computer. It was a Gateway. It came in a cow-printed box.
Oh, hell yeah.
I helped them unpack it.
Gateway stores were ugly as sin, but yes, nostalgia.
The cow and everything, yep. So we assembled the computer, and it came with like a bunch of free games that you can play on the computer. One of those free games was a first-person shooter, which was, at that time, revolutionary, but it was Nerf. It was branded as Nerf. And you got to chalk the gun and shoot the gun. Watch the Nerf bullet go out. And it was an online game, but it was crappy online.
I know what game you're talking about. It was very crappy.
I think I tried to get you to play it with me.
I know, and I was like, I'll just shoot you in the head with a regular Nerf gun. It's so much easier, and the graphics are better.
While it was fun, and while there was some cool aspect of it, because there was Nerf involved, it was still there. Like, I played it. My point of my story is, like, what you talk about, Wii Sports, Wii Tennis, like, Wii Boxing, Wii Running.
Well,
like,
the
all of those
Wii
things.
Sports versus Mario Sports are very different.
They are. But, like, that whole genre of gaming and whatnot, I feel the very same way about that Nerf shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fun. It's kind of quirky and
it has
entertaining.
The name that I care about of the character or the company, but
yeah, there's a brand behind it that's like cool. But that's also like you go to the grocery store and you pick up Halo Master Chief Cheerios.
Wait, they make Master Chief Cheerios? Are you serious?
No, they should, because it helps your heart strong.
You know what? Oh man, you know what? If they did make Master Chief Cheerios, that would actually make sense. You know why? Because you'd be eating them, and you'd look down, and you'd see, oh, You teed that up. You teed that up for me perfectly. We didn't even plan that one ahead, guys. Look, we made a real bad joke in real time. Anyway, it looks fun. It looks like it's got some like interesting RPG customization elements and like stuff with the like special party modes that I would play it. If I was at somebody else's house and we were having a couple beers and they had it and they're like, "You want to fuck around and find out?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I do, actually."
Yeah, I would play it. I would totally play it.
But
I don't know if I'd spend. Yeah,
exactly. This is one to rent from your local library for sure. Yeah. If your library is cool and blows money, blows their precious budget on Mario sports games.
And if they do, it's available because nobody else got it.
I did not think I would ever be talking about this on the show again, but I have to. So, Nintendo posted a Splatoon 2 Splatter Ladder, which is a tournament series of a bunch of different things, like esports style stuff for Splatoon 2 that they're coming out with in the next month in July. The last attempt and big Splatoon series that Nintendo was involved in was the whole free melee thing, hashtag free melee, where they canceled the finals because all the top teams had Smash Brothers references to reference the fact that Nintendo had unfairly put the kibosh on a melee tournament. And to censor and to silence those top Splatoon teams, Nintendo pulled the plug on live streaming the event. So that was the last bit of Splatoon esports competition that we heard of. Then we had Nintendo announced Splatoon 3, right? Then we had E3, which didn't mention Splatoon in any way, shape, or form. And now we have a competitive thing for Splatoon 2, which I can only interpret as pre-marketing for Splatoon 3. Because why in the world, after there's no more support for Splatoon 2, there's no more Splatfest, they don't mention it, they pull the plug on the last thing. The only reason they would be doing a Splatoon 2 tournament is to start to ramp people up for Splatoon 3. Weeks after not mentioning either of the Splatoon games at E3. I got a problem with it. Nintendo,
I got a problem with it.
You
and I have discussed E3 off camera. We both strongly feel that the way Nintendo presented things at E3, their biggest hitter in their E3 showcase was Legend of Zelda and the Metroid. We very easily could have had them give us Splatoon news during E3, but instead they gave it to us during that Treehouse the month or two prior. Yes. They should have saved E3, or they should have saved Splatoon 3 for E3.
I agree.
And
3.
So because of that, like, okay, their tree houses have been historically known to be bland. Like, there's some good information, but they're not groundbreaking. They should have saved Splatoon 3 for E3, and they could have left the treehouse being bland, like historically they've always done. Because of this, I am getting this, like, weird feeling that they may not fully believe in their Splatoon 3 platform,
or it's not
nearly as close to being ready.
Yeah, it's not ready in terms of development where it should be, because they said early 2022, and it's almost July. Probably will be July by the time this episode releases, and that's like they need to be wrapping up. Yeah, if they're going for early 2022 to do tests and marketing and make sure their servers don't have a hot mess. Which, I didn't think about this until just now. I wonder if Splatoon 2 will be the first party Nintendo online multiplayer game to use the new multiplayer servers.
Yeah.
Mario Golf might use it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I doubt it though.
Because the only game we absolutely know that was using it was Monster Hunter Rise, which works really well.
Which works great, yeah.
Yeah. So
shout out to our Monster Hunter Rise community, people who love us. We should play more.
Yeah, we should. We need to get Valtrex. But yeah, so a big side eye to Nintendo for that, and a big old hashtag free melee. The last thing in news is the action RPG from Wizards of the Coast, Magic Legends, is canceled. It was in closed beta, and I played the closed beta, and it was real rough. And then it came out into open beta, and I played like an hour of it. I even streamed it, actually. You can go back and watch the VOD. And I was like, the combat is fun. The combat, they have a good idea, but then everything else is kind of a mess. And it went from closed beta to open beta to now it's dead in the water, canceled. They're refunding everybody's microtransactions. It's not even going to make it to launch. I've never seen that happen before.
We've seen it happen a bunch of times. We've never seen it happen so publicly.
I've never heard of a game going through beta and then not making it out of beta into launch.
There's several games that we've covered the. Wow, I sound like a broken record. We've covered the Halo multiplayer game that was originally in beta for Russia, never released, but now it's available on the internet because somebody leaked it.
Oh yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, the DS one or whatever.
Yeah, but there were some other games that were like that were created in beta. They went to launch and they realized they just didn't have the server capacity nor the funds to fix what they thought they needed.
But there's a difference between the beta goes rough and then they release it and it fails at release or it fails at launch. This one is like we're still like
in development,
a couple months out from launch, and they're like, sorry.
They realize that there's too much time and effort into this project that they are not going to see the return on.
This is the second swing, and I mean this is the big swing and a miss. But Wizards of the Coast also did the new Dungeons and Dragons, or at least co-developed the Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance game that just came out, which I think has the lowest score on Meta.
2.6
Metascore.
I don't know what it is on Metascore, but I looked it up
bad.
on Xbox Marketplace. Xbox Marketplace has it at 2.6.
Metacritic Metascore.
The comments in the scores are like worst game ever. Me and Little Red sat on the couch Sunday morning just laughing at the absolute bashing. Like there's 21 stars and then there's 1 5-star. And then there's another 21 stars, and then there's one 5-star. Like they're so drastic.
I played it, and it is my type of game. It's like an action game, fantasy, RPG elements, looter elements, like all that. And I don't even think I made it halfway through one mission, and I was like, maybe I'll come back to this later. Oops, I uninstalled it. I needed the hard drive.
It's free on Xbox Game Pass, so I figured I would try it. But then you said it was so bad I didn't even bother.
It's not even worth the hard drive space. Lastly, what are we playing, Corporal? Are there any games in this sea of gross, casual, half-thought-out games? Are there any games that are just stealing your attention lately? Would you say that there's anything stealing your attention? Oh. Okay, is that a dating sim that you're...
It's my pirate flag.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves,
Sea of Thieves!
I don't think we've ever been so late to discover a good game. But yeah, Sea of Thieves, we have Game Pass.
Well, in all fairness, I've retro went back and looked at a bunch of reviews when Sea of Thieves came out. Like, it was okay, but a lot of the things that you and I enjoy about the game today are things that came out in post releases later for free.
No Man's Sky type situation?
Yeah. I don't think it's nearly as bad. No Man's Sky was like a cluster. I don't think this was nearly as bad. But I think that with every subsequent release, and from what I've read, the developers have no reason to stop. They're going to keep moving forward with new content. Yeah. Heck, they just partnered with Disney. So they've got faith in this project, and I think it's gonna go forward pretty well. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm enjoying it too much.
It's fun. It's very fun.
It's not so fun. Mr. Chewy, I swear if you're out there, Mr. Chewy, I was just trying to look at a pupper. There was no reason for you to sink me and my ship. If I find you out in the open seas, I'm coming for you. Arr!
See, this is why I love it. The Sea of Thieves. What'd you say? You just heard a friend say, "Oh, hello there." Boom, dead.
It was in like an Australian, Scottishy kind of accent, but it was like, "Oh, hello," and then all of a sudden I like turned around. There was a shotgun, boom, right to the face. You see my character go down on its knees, and then you see another guy, a shirtless guy with big muscles, named Mr. Chewy, jump onto my ship, lay down a bomb, jump off, and blow the mast up, and just watch my ship sink. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Sea of Thieves is fun. It's fun. Anyway, so that's our little intro. Now we're going to talk about casual gamers.
You filthy animal.
Are casual gamers good, or are they a plague upon our gaming world? So you filthy casuals think you can walk up to our podcast and talk about gaming to us? No. So we're talking about...
You say filthy, and in any context you say filthy, I immediately revert back to Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin going, "You filthy animals!" The scene from the movie.
Shade, you filthy animal.
Yes.
Before we go on this journey together, let's set some initial definitions, some initial assumptions or agreements upon what exactly is casual. Because what some people consider casual, other people might not consider casual.
I don't know if there's going to be an agreement here, because I have a Nick Yeti hot take I want to give.
Oh, Jesus.
But I'll let you start.
Okay, so according to the wise words of Wikipedia, at least, a casual game. So a casual game is a game that is targeted at a wide mass market audience as opposed to a hardcore game, which is a game targeted more at a niche audience of hobbyist gamers. So basically, casual games are designed to appeal to as many people as possible. Like last common denominator. That's kind of a negative connotation. But casual games are made specifically. Like Minecraft is not a casual game. It was made, it had a mass appeal just because it was innovative, but it wasn't designed specifically to appeal to the masses. Games like what's that gem game, or the game everybody's played on their iPhone that's like puzzle.
Oh, Bejeweled or Candy Crush?
Bejeweled and Candy Crush are perfect examples of casual games that just happen to be on mobile. I'm sure somebody will have something to say about that in the near future. But yes, so casual gamers are people who identify themselves as casual, who mostly play casual games. And this is way higher than I thought in doing the little bit of research we did for this episode. 56.6%. So the majority of people who identify themselves as gamers, 56.6% of gamers identify as casual gamers, meaning they're mostly playing casual games. 22%, 22.3%, identify themselves as novice gamers, so not a lot of confidence, or just kind of like a little notch above casual. They're novice gamers, so they're new, getting into games, or they're just not very good, or
yeah, I would put novice below casual.
Below casual?
Yeah, you have novice, and then you have casual gamers.
No, novice is like, I think above, because like people who are just getting started into playing like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a bad example, but I would put novice as, I think casual is the dead bottom tier, and then novice is
no.
Okay. All right, we'll get there. But then besides, so 56% are casual, 22% are novice, and then there's a mix of the rest that identify themselves as aspiring professionals or expert gamers. What would you identify yourself as, Corporal?
For the sake of this argument, I am taking the strong stance that I am a casual gamer. Now, I have evidence to say that I am not a hardcore gamer, but I think that most people would agree that I'm kind of a hardcore gamer. With that being said, I'm taking the stance as a casual gamer, and I'm going to define casual versus hardcore by the simple definition of it is not indicative by based of time, but is based off of mindset and goal setting. So you want to be a hardcore gamer, you're dedicated to the grind to become better. You're dedicated to failing over and over and over and over again for the sole purpose of fine-tuning your skill set, your communication skills, or your ability to overcome the challenge in front of you until you reach said goal. Whereas a casual gamer is sitting down to play casually for the moment, but does not want to invest that much effort.
So you're saying it's more of an effort and intention versus time. Interesting.
Yes. That's why I said I think you and I are going to take this argument. It's going to be a twist.
Yeah. So you don't care how when Halo Infinite comes out, you're just going to do it for fun. You don't care how good you are at Halo. You're not going to look up stats on weapons and try to improve.
No.
You're not going to look up the meta of the current best grenades to use.
No.
Then I'm going to call you a liar gamer, because that's just not true.
I am not going to look up those stats. And I'll tell you why. The same reason why I don't get into Super Smash the way you do. That much detail into a game is what I call sweaty.
So how many videos did you watch on how to get better at Sea of Thieves?
12 times 10.
If you're watching videos on what to do and how to improve, I would venture to say that by definition makes you not casual, because you're not just playing to have fun, you're playing to improve. Even if your definition of fun is improving, that still identifies you outside of the realm of casual gamer.
So this is why I made the statement that although I probably am a hardcore gamer, I am taking the stance of casual. Now, I think I don't, on my screen you're over here, if that's true.
On my screen you're right there.
Okay, so you're over here. So in my view, what you do for Super Smash is sweaty.
I don't do it for Super Smash no more, because that online game is trash, and I ain't trying to pick through the trash for frame data.
But like your frame data, your milliseconds per punch, and like you talk about, like, because you can go. I've watched videos for Sea of Thieves. It was like the sniper, when first released, did 57.3% damage. It has been nerfed now to I think it was 32.4% damage, which that's a huge drop, especially for a sniper. Like, whoever made that decision, screw you, bro. But I don't give two craps about the percentage rate. I just want to shoot and kill, not real things. Just throwing that out there.
So, but I mean, it's really interesting, because when I was looking into this and kind of wrapping my head around what a casual gamer is, to me it was people who don't have a very high time commitment and people who just play like like Bejeweled or Candy Crush that's just like
So,
something like that. I think your point is very interesting. Your point is fascinating to me that you define it as intention,
not time. So I'm going to take this a step further, and this is where I say I'm going to have a hot.
Hold on, let me buckle up. Let me buckle up for Corporal's wild ride here.
This is where I'm going to put on the Nick Yeti suit. Are you ready for this?
Oh no, I'm afraid.
If you're sitting on a toilet for a couple hours a day playing Candy Crush and you call yourself a gamer, flush yourself, because you're not one.
So, are you saying 56? Well, that's not
yeah, I read that same statistic. So here's my take. If you do not own and or play your console, do not play on PC, do not play on Xbox, do not play a Nintendo Switch, do not play on an actual console for the purpose of gaming, and your sole video game experience is going to be mobile games. Now, in recent years, we have to draw a line there because there has been streaming console games to your phone as a controller. There's a gray area there.
Yeah, let's ignore that. Let's
ignore that.
Streaming.
But if you're solely playing Bejeweled, Candy Crush, and like, I don't want to say PUBG because that's kind of a bad example because I know that's probably where you're going to go.
Mobile games, a lot of mobile games that Fortnite is on mobile.
Fortnite and PUBG are both mobile that are now even cross-platform play. So like,
so what is that? Where does that? That's a gray area.
That's a gray area for me.
Okay, so if you're saying if your main platform of gaming is mobile, what?
Then you do not qualify in my eyes as an actual gamer.
So you're saying people who are primarily mobile gamers don't even make it to casual gamers. They're just not.
Correct. Because that's not gaming.
Oh. Nuh-uh. I disagree. I disagree with that. And I have some statistics. Mobile gaming?
Hold on. So, mobile gaming, yet again, I'm still classifying like Bejeweled, Candy Crush, the flow game where you have to make water connects to one tube to the other. Like, yes, they are games, and they fall under the umbrella of the gaming industry. I'm not trying to take that away, but when you talk about are you a gamer, that's a stereotype. That's a badge that you're carrying. I don't think the investment of your time or your life into a game like that really counts. Yeah, I see you. But I will say there's a lot of gray area there. In my opinion, if I'm a casual gamer, which I'm taking the stance of, yes, I'm a casual gamer, I will play mobile games, maybe stream console games to my phone, but most of my gameplay happens on a couch or a desk at a keyboard.
Okay. Maybe not two, a couple things. So, there are people, I even know some of, don't know them, but I know of them. So there are people who play things like, I think it's Call of Duty has a mobile game called Warzone Mobile. League of Legends Wild Rift is a dedicated MOBA just for mobile. There's a little game called Pokemon Unite that is going to be co-launched as a 3v3 PvP MOBA that's going to be on Switch and on mobile, and I'm going to guess that it's probably going to have more players on mobile. There's a competitive MOBA game called Arena of Valor, which is one of the most popular games in China that has its own esports things. So, I would counterpoint that there can even be hardcore gamers.
Yes.
That are only on mobile. We
can touch on this because for me it's at the very bottom of the show notes that I added. We go back to our argument from a previous episode. Professional gamers and the esports realm I think has fractured what my definition is of the gaming
For
community.
mobile, yeah.
Yes, because of that. So, are we saying that esports and the professionals who are in those realms are the poison pill in the water of what I consider a gamer, and therefore it has to be held separately? Or are we now just going to include them?
Well, they're right. They can be, because the average mobile gamer does not play like that. But here's another fact that I just thought of. The most popular streamed games on Facebook Gaming, the platform that we call home for streaming, the most popular games traditionally have been mobile games.
And honestly,
on Facebook Gaming.
When we very first started doing the Nintendads, before it was the Nintendad, we had looked at where we wanted to take this adventure and what route we wanted to go on. And one of the things that I came across, and I brought to you, Presto, was that we could do mobile gaming because it's a niche in itself, and therefore it would narrow our field. And there is a lot of people who do really well at doing those types of streams. To me, that's still not. I will admit, I may be birthed into the millennial generation, but I am an old fart when it comes to mindsets. I don't see that as actual gamers. You need to have that Sega Genesis controller in hand for you to be a gamer. You need to be locked down and wired. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
What about people who have a Switch Lite?
So Switch Lite, that's a console.
Yeah, that's a console.
Now, so we say mobile gaming. In today's world, the hardware and technology that's available in a phone is in many ways better than what's in a 3DS.
It's pretty much a Switch. The current gen phones are the same hardware capability as the Switch, basically. They're not optimized for gaming, so they can't play Breath of the Wild, but fundamentally, hardware-wise, they are the same, if not better, by now. Probably better than the base Switch.
The water is muddied because 3DSs are mobile, 3DSs can be run around, 3DSs are a basic mobile.
But 3DS is a console, so that would be, yeah. See, I still think Razer makes a phone, a gaming phone. Are you saying people who play games on their gaming phone aren't gamers? That doesn't even make sense, grammatically even.
My name is Jeff. He plays a lot of old school retro games on his phone.
Is he a gamer?
He owns a PlayStation 5 and
if he didn't own the PlayStation, all right.
He grinds the heck out of Final Fantasy. Yes, so, he's a gamer.
A couple more notes on mobile gaming, which is now this mobile gaming episode.
No,
mobile gaming.
That's not allowed.
Mobile gaming makes up 49% of the total gaming market.
Yes.
Let me say that again. Mobile gaming is half of the gaming industry. How you gonna tell me that people who play games on phones aren't gamers? That's half.
If they play other games, now hold on, they are not saying they're not showing crossover. They are not saying
they're not showing crossover. They're not showing crossover. Right.
A good portion of those people also play console.
What portion? I would bet it's less than half of that 49%.
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. My point is what they're trying to say is that 49% or whatever of games that are in the gaming industry are being made for mobile. That I agree to.
Well, no, that's not... So this statistic is 49% of the total market, meaning all the dollars associated with the gaming industry. So in 2020, the gaming world...
You just dropped your entire argument right there.
No,
when you brought in dollars.
Dollars are important to gaming.
The mobile market is primarily microtransactions. Now, we can make an argument that console games are starting to bring that in, and yes, that's a lion's share of how they're making their money, but it is a known fact that the mobile market is based off of microtransactions. Candy Crush, I'm going to spend an extra 99 cents to get some extra lives.
Yeah, but Candy Crush is free. Super Mario Golf is $60. I would say that's not... No, most people don't spend $60 in microtransactions on mobile games. I don't have any data to back that up, but I'm going to have to assume.
I would make the argument that in the course of the lifespan of that person playing a game, yes, they do.
I don't think so. We can look it up. We can look it up after, but I don't think. I think it's just the pure volume because it's 56. Well, no, that was casual gamers. I guess I need to look up how many people are mobile. I don't even know if that exists. I wonder if you can find out how many people are mobile gamers exclusively. That's yes. But mobile gaming as a platform. So if you go Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, mobile on its own as a platform makes up $86.3 billion for 2020.
We've made the argument before as nerds. We're proud of what our fandom has turned into as a stereotype. We have been elevated by things like Marvel and video games becoming more mainstream.
Oh yeah, geek is cool now. Gaming is acceptable now. We've talked about gaming coming into the mainstream. And
we've talked about how the gaming industry as a whole, all of it combined, is worth more than Hollywood. So...
Sorry, boomers.
So... with that much money in our industry, I feel like mobile gaming, that's just disgusting.
Now let's forget, you added this stat to the thing. The leading country, or maybe you didn't, but I saw it in one of the things you liked. The leading country for the mobile revenue is China specifically. Asia as a region, but China specifically as mobile games. Thank you, 10-cent Gaming, for all your 10 cents. So, anyway.
There was a South Park episode that covered this very topic when we talk about mobile games. Yes. Yes.
I haven't watched South Park really in years, so I probably missed it.
Was it South Park? Yeah, I think it was South Park. And they drew up... Yeah, it was South Park. They even turned it into a mobile game. They turned that episode into a mobile game.
That's the most South Park thing ever.
They did. They most certainly did.
So meta.
But they talk about how mobile games and the way they're designed and the way that they're like visualized is to help trigger like mental synapses in order to make it you cracked and hooked.
Yes.
They talk about how that triggers the buy factor, and because it's small little amounts like 99 cents or 50 cents, like it makes it so much easier to buy into, and that is why the mobile industry makes so much money. And that particular episode even like whiteboarded the whole like pyramid scheme to it.
We could do a whole episode on how disgusting and predatory microtransaction on mobile gaming is. 100%. So, I am not saying that it's a good thing, gamers.
So I watched a video who made that very argument. Preparing for this episode, I had done research and I had watched a video that made that very argument. And later, he then argued against himself because he didn't really believe it.
Because he's wrong as shit?
But my point here is that I think playing Bejeweled as your only source of gaming on your phone doesn't count.
I think that's gamist. I don't know what the word is. It's like, it's not racist, it's not sexist. Synonymous with mobile gamer, but not according to you because you don't think mobile gamers are people or humans. They're subhumans.
They're sub gamers, not humans.
Well, let's hold on. Before we get to that, I do want to talk about casual. This is an interesting thing that's like come up in the last, like, I've heard about it in like the last 6 months. But there is a growing difference between, so if I say Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Spiritfarer, all of those games, people would be like, oh, those are casual games. But yeah, there is a growing subculture called cozy games.
I'm fine with that.
Cozy games versus casual games. Are cozy games casual games? Or are they different?
Yes.
I think they're different.
I think they're different. They are because you can get sweaty with things like Animal Crossing. But I also think you can get
sweaty. You can get sweaty being cozy.
Yes, I think right. I think that the sweaty term is a floating term that can be used for any game, whether it's casual, whether it's MOBA, whether it's mobile, excuse me, or if it's hardcore, can be used for anyone or any subgroup of said fandom who gets so into it. And I think that's where people start having some problems.
I got something to say to you, boy. Okay, so on your spectrum, right? You have casual over here just playing for fun, right? And then you have
that are not mobile.
And then you have sweaty, who is somebody who likes the grind, who wants to
No. Casual and
plays for fun and enjoyment.
Based off of how your screen is laid out. Casual, hardcore.
Hardcore. But sweaty, I mean hardcore and sweaty. You're saying hardcore, sweaty.
No, because you can have sweaty casuals.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. So people who, like yourself, when Animal Crossing came out, wanted to know all the stats of how frequently certain fish or certain things would pop in the water that you can catch.
Yes.
Like, you are getting into
okay.
But it's still considered a casual game.
So what about people who are playing Candy Crush on their phone for 4 hours a day trying to get a high score?
They are sweaty MOBA gamers.
But they're gamers. You said the word gamers.
Mobile gamers.
They're still
separate classification.
Move on. We're agreeing. Let us know if you're made it this far into this absolute battle. I think this is the first time, because in past episodes, like, we've been like, all right, I'm going to argue that esports people are athletes, and you're going to argue not. I think this is one of the few times where this is not an exaggerated disagreement. This is like actual, like, we don't agree and we're not going to agree, and it's fun. But so if you're listening or you're watching, let us know, would you consider people who primarily play, or would you consider who exclusively play games on their phones, are they considered gamers? If you have a guy who is a Pokemon Go hardcore, goes to festivals, has spent $100 million on Poke things, and he plays Pokemon Go competitively and goes to Pokemon Go tournament, and I'm getting out of control here. But if someone plays Pokemon Go and they look at the stats and they play and they're catching them all and they're battling and doing all the stats, you're saying to me that that person doesn't have the right to call themselves a gamer because the game that they love happens to be for mobile.
Pokemon Go is it's not in my show notes, but it's in my personal notes over here. Pokemon Go is the prime example of breaking this mold, and I will argue it's because of its brand name. There are certain things that, because of brand, break the mold.
I don't know, that mold's looking like it's got a couple more cracks in it.
It's got lots of cracks because it's based purely on... There's no argument. When you play on a cell phone, it is a game. I just don't... I think that for you to be a gamer, there has to be a threshold, a classification. And I just don't know, personally, if purely mobile games qualifies. If mobile games plus other things, yes.
Yes.
Purely mobile games, I don't know.
Let us know. I genuinely want to know what you, the listener, think. If you think mobile games, if someone plays exclusively on mobile, should they be considered a gamer, or do you think that does not meet the threshold of gamer? They're just a mobilizer.
It's still a game, so you are a gamer. But
you're saying they're distinctly
separate.
Yes. Okay. I'm saying yes as in I understand you, not that I agree with you, because I don't. But let us know what you think, because I really am. I want to like make this a poll, like during.
Yeah.
This argument is going to carry over into our live stream in so many ways. Anyway, so that whole point aside, that was fun.
Crap.
So now we're gonna quickly talk about the benefits of casual gamers and the drawbacks of casual gamers. Corporal, who's talking about the benefits? Do you think there's more benefits or there's more drawbacks to casual gamers?
So casual, I'm yet again, I'm taking the stance of casual gaming is positive and good. Casual
minus all you mobile
people. Take that phone and throw it out. Casual gamers present a problem. Casual games, not casual. Okay, we gotta make sure we define this, because even I'm screwing it up. Casual games or casual gamers? Casual gamers are causing a issue in the industry. Casual games are being made because of mobile gaming, to be more inclusive to those mobile players. And that is where my argument goes, I'm kicking in the door. Because the mobile players who are so used to having that synapse drug-induced visualization handed to them on their phone are looking for that instant gratification. The gaming industry, the reason why so much money is being put into the gaming industry is focused on mobile gaming. And we've seen it. We have seen it, that the mobile game is bleeding into the console, and it's being a game, but it was a mobile game that they just ported to the console.
So you're saying that's a bad thing or a good thing?
I think it's a bad thing. But it is providing casual gamers with more things to do, a larger variety of games, and from those games, creativity is born that can then plant the seed into better games.
So it's an entry point, both for game design and casual gamers to get into other games.
Correct.
Okay, so I do agree with that point.
I'm going to be the boomer, we talked about this earlier about the DARE program and drugs back in the day, but the boomer industry, marijuana being the gateway drug into all drugs, I think mobile gaming is the gateway gaming into other games.
And just casual games in general.
Exactly.
I do agree with that. I think it is a point, it is a good point, not quite what you were saying, but so part of the reason that we thought of to create this episode is Guilty Gear Strive has come out. I've been playing it. I love it. It's amazing. You should play it. A fighting game figurehead called Maximilian Dude made a video arguing the importance of casual gamers in the fighting game community, which is typically not where you see people being too friendly to casual
fighting
gamers.
Game community is usually the sweaties.
Yes, but his point was, if a casual gamer, and this is actually echoing your point about like intent and how people play games. If a casual gamer wants to pick up Guilty Gear Strive for $60 US, they're paying the same amount of money as you, who analyzes frame data, or me that analyzes frame data, and they want to turn it on, they want to pick the character that looks cool, and they just want to mash buttons and have fun, They don't care about their win-loss. They don't care about their rank. They don't care about learning combos or matchups or anything. They just want to play it for maybe a couple hours a week, maybe a little bit after they get home from work, and they want to go online. They want to mash. They want to play, you know, the bottom of ranked against other people who are doing the same thing just for pure enjoyment. That not only is fine, that's okay, and that shouldn't be criticized, but that's good, because a staggering amount of people who play the game, and the overwhelming majority of sales for a game are casual gamers. Even in the most extreme example of fighting games, that's typically known for being very hard to get into. It's
a niche within a niche.
Yeah. The average casual gamer stays the hell away from fighting games.
Unless you're like either a sweaty for fighting games, or you've got some nostalgia kick for like old Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, or like Street Fighter or something like that, yeah. But his point was that casual gamers do provide lifeblood both in sales numbers and just like overall numbers. Like there was 300,000 copies of Guilty Gear sold in the first week. He's arguing, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I mean, I'm going to trust his word over... I'm going to trust this word. The majority of that 300,000 people...
He's a streamer, and I believe
casual. They're casual people. People who are casually picking up the game, who are going to play it for fun, and because that did so well, 10 years from now, we're going to have another game because the success on the backs of the casuals.
Market.
So that's that point I thought was important to make because he made it and I thought it was a good point. That's fodder for your point of view, which I'm going to quickly take back. So don't get too used to that.
But it's true because the casual game, the people who bleed and blur that line, the mobile gamers who all of a sudden now want to try a hit of something stronger, and they go for a console or they go for a PC game, how they go for an actual game that sits down and actually tries to learn something, they'll find solace in the casual gaming market. And that, now it may be like they sway the line because they'll get a little bit hard with one game but not with another.
Yeah,
but they are now
an entry point. They're in the ecosystem.
Exactly. And that is good not only for gaming developers and console creators for the industry, but also for game developers themselves to be like, okay, this is what's selling, this is what does well, we can do something with this and make it better. And then that mobile game that maybe made its way over here now has a reason to become an actual game.
Okay. I do agree with those points, but the arguing, the point of contention is when all is said and done, is the overall effect, good and bad, of casual gamers. Does it balance out? Is it more positive? Is it more negative? You're saying now, it's more positive.
You have arguments as to why it's negative. I'll let you speak about your negativity, but I think my reasons outweigh the negative reasons. But go ahead.
I'm going to start with a little point that I just thought up, but are romantic comedies are good for the movie industry, right? They're good.
Yeah.
They get, they're typically some of the highest grossing. Everybody goes
I'm
to
sorry,
see them.
I'm taken back by the fact that your analogy is not food-based.
I mean, I can go fast food versus culinary, but this is a little closer. So romantic comedies are good for the movie industry. They get more people in the theaters. They get more people watching movies. Great. But
there could be an argument made that romantic comedies, although we're not the lion's share of the movie industry, are just as important.
They're good for the movie industry, but I would argue that they're probably bad for cinema as an art form. Because think about the rise of these popcorn romantic comedies with shitty writing and little substance, and compare that to the actual good movies that come out, and then rewind the average quality, the classics of the great, what people consider the great achievements in cinema, are fewer and farther between because there's a bunch of turds in the punch bowl. There's all this stuff that's made to sell tickets and appeal to the lowest common denominator and push sales versus true substance and innovation. And that is what part of the point that I'm going to make about gaming. You look at gaming as an overall thing, and you see some of these AAA titles, right? Ubisoft, Avengers, right? Of the Avengers game, the Dungeons and Dragons game that just came out and absolutely bombed. Call of Duty, all of them. You look at these games and the overall quality of games.
I'd like to point out that your dismissal of Call of Duty games as a whole is very equal to my dismissal of mobile games.
Fair. That's fine. I'll take that. I'm not arguing that. But I would say a lot of people who are lifelong gamers would agree that the overall average quality of games, especially AAA titles, big budget games from big producers, they've degraded in quality and over time. And that might just be because there's more pressure on the industry, that there's not the ability to scale more budget into better games, that scaling gaming is still a young industry, that they haven't quite figured out how to use their money wisely, so they just make these big bloated half-baked games. But could the real reason be that a lot of these games are being tailored specifically to casual gamers, and that casual gamers building your I'm trying to think of another metaphor that's not food, but I'm gonna go there.
Go with it.
Building your restaurant around what's gonna get most people to eat there is gonna end you up with McDonald's. Is McDonald's even food? Kind of, I guess, but it's shitty food. It's objectively, people who eat at McDonald's are like, yeah, it's terrible, but you know, it's so quick and cheap. So there's a lot of McDonald's games out there, and I would say it's because devs are catering more towards casuals. Now, that's not to say...
To define McDonald's games, we've got mobile games, then we've got McDonald's games.
I'm not saying McDonald's games are a specific subset of games, but I'm saying the McDonaldization of games, I don't know. Basically, making games... Because there's... So I'll use Guilty Gear as an example. Guilty Gear is a very hard to pick up game, historically.
Okay.
Because it's like, you need to, like Tekken, I just started playing Tekken for the first time, and my eyes, I'm like going cross-eyed because it's a hard game to pick up. It's fine. Now, a lot of these...
I'm going cross-eyed, but it's fine.
It's fine. That's what you sign up for when you play Tekken. They induce blindness.
I'm having seizures in the corner, but it's okay. I'm enjoying it.
When you take a game and you simplify it and make it easier for people, you lower the skill floor, right? There's a skill floor and there's a skill ceiling. Skill ceiling is how good you can possibly get at the game. Skill floor is how competent you need to be at the game to even pick it up and be functionally playing it. If you look at, you know, games like Mario Party, there's basically no skill floor. A toddler can face roll and play Mario Party and in some cases win, and the skill ceiling is not very high. Games like Rocket League, games like Super Smash Bros. Melee, a lot of fighting games, a lot of competitive games, even, I hate to say it, but a lot of esports like Apex, like Valorant, like first-person shooters, have a relatively low skill floor, appeals to a lot of people, and a lot of people can play it. You don't need a science degree to play, you know, pick up and play most of these games, but it's got a very, very high skill ceiling to allow you to grow and get sweaty in all kinds of wonderful ways. The problem is, with a lot of games, is this is what you want to do with games. This is the skill floor. I'm sorry for people who are listening to this. The skill floor and the skill ceiling, if you can expand both, that's the perfect game. If you can make a game that anybody can pick up and have fun on a casual level, but you can also get really good at, and it has depth and complexity and nuance, and people can play it and constantly improve, that's the perfect game. Unfortunately, a lot of devs are doing this. They're lowering the skill ceiling, they're lowering the skill floor to make it more accessible. Accessibility. Blah, bad word alert. They're lowering the skill floor for accessibility, but at the same time, they're lowering the skill ceiling. And that's not okay. Now, good devs, Guilty Gear, I would argue, they lowered the skill floor from previous Guilty Gear games because they took out a lot of needlessly complicating systems. They lowered the skill floor, but they didn't really lower the skill ceiling because you could still do crazy stuff in that game. Super Smash Bros. Melee had, you know, reasonably low skill floor, very high skill ceiling. Every entry in the series since Melee, they've lowered the skill floor, but they've also lowered the skill ceiling. And that is why I would argue, for people who care about that skill ceiling and people who really want to play, the weight of casual games and designing for casual gamers is dragging down the quality to be more accessible and less long-term viable and have a high skill ceiling.
I agree with you. I agree with you that the developers do not have the balls, nor do they have the support to do what's right for their brand in raising the skill ceiling, and instead taking the cheap and easier way out and lowering the skill floor. I hold that fault, though, on the developers for lacking the balls, not the casual gamers.
That's a super fair point. That is a super fair point. Because that's a fair point. It's not casual gamers' faults
that the game was made.
It's not their fault. They're not accountable for that. Somebody once told me there's a difference between responsibility and accountability. A chicken is responsible for an egg, but a pig is accountable for the bacon. Casual gamers aren't accountable for the state of the industry being designed for them. However, they are the underlying reason. It's not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong.
So that I agree to.
But it's still they're still the underlying reason.
Yes. So to that point, there is no answer fixing that problem. You can't go out there and be like, have a literary test before you play the game. Like, no, this game's not for you. Go to mobile. You can't.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's just so the fault is on the fault of devs that do that, and that's not a sweeping statement. There's plenty of good game designers and game studios and developers out there, and they're not called EA. Just gonna stick that in there.
We talk about things that we should be clipping out of our episodes and put on stories or on Instagram.
Clip it.
Like
somebody clip it. Oh wait, we're not live. That's not. We should be live. Kazuya is out for Smash right now, and we're sitting here talking about.
Yeah, I mean by 3 minutes, but yes.
Yeah. But the overall. So I've sort of made my point.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily the fault. Now the big question is, we have to be honest with each other and with ourselves, is the overall appeal of casual gamers providing an entry point, providing greater diversity, and getting more of the overall population of the human race into gaming, does that benefit outweigh the drawback of the effect of the watering down, to put it super, super, oversimplified?
I think it does, but there's an asterisk.
Okay.
I think it does for two reasons. One, it provides more dollars into the industry, which creates more flexibility to do more.
I'm a free market kind of guy, and I agree with that.
Two, it creates more gamers to have interaction with, raise our level and stature as a community, and provides us with more opinions and more creativity to expand the window of what could be created in the future. These coming to gamers now may grow up to become game developers later and come up with newer things. So I think it's a great thing, with the asterisk that it is still the game developer's responsibility to not fold under the pressure of the mobile market, causing
mobile. It's not casual gamers the enemy, it's mobile gamers that are the enemy.
Yes, the mobile market is, because we go back to...
That's called scapegoating, boys and girls.
No. Listen, the mobile market is known for... We go back to that Synapse thing.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is a legit point, that it's predatory.
Every single game developer is out there like, ooh, look what they're doing. We could take a little bit of that flair.
To take another shot at EA, I would say EA's microtransactions, surprise mechanics are equally as bad and equally as predatory as anything in the mobile gaming market.
Which, in all fairness, they got that lawsuit well deserved.
Yes. Get spanked, EA.
So I've got one other thing that I'd like to just kind of add. What are the drawbacks of casual gamers? Or the drawbacks of hardcore gamers, right? So the hardcore gaming market, you've got the hardcore gaming market. We've talked about how casuals are drawing and watering down games, and therefore the sweaties of the world are seeing that games are too easy now.
Well, here, before we move on to this, would you say the overall quality of games is better now or 10 years ago?
So 10 years ago, there are games that were developed that have zero accessibility, and you had to figure it out. You did not have the internet, you did not have gamer guides, and if you did, your mom had to drive you to GameStop to buy them.
You call the Nintendo Game Help Hotline.
So you had to overcome those challenges. As a gamer, there was nobody there to teach it to you. You couldn't YouTube it. You had to figure it out, or you had to give up.
Well, 10 years ago, maybe you could YouTube it.
Well, yeah.
In general, yeah. Not the same thing.
Old school Sega, old school Nintendo is what I'm referring to.
So maybe we go 10, 15 years. So
yeah, 20 years ago.
But would you say that the overall quality was better then versus now?
Quality? There is a lot of gamers out there who say that games back in the day, like we talked about the Lion King Sega game, or it wasn't Sega, it was for multiple platforms, but the Lion King game was the hardest game that was created in that year. And even the highest of pros had difficulty beating that game. Nowadays, you won't have those types of problems.
Yeah, nowadays, I'm just talking about overall design and overall quality, not necessarily difficulty.
I think that the art of the gaming industry has improved. Gaming and video games as a whole has became an art form.
I'm not talking about, obviously there's been crazy innovations in games and new things, and they've done great things. I'm talking about the average sum total of games. Was it better then, or is it better now?
I don't count mobile games, so yes.
Not counting mobile games. Not counting mobile games. You're saying it was better then than now.
No, it's better now.
Oh, it's better now?
I think games are better now than what they were.
So your favorite games of all time, if you were stuck on an island and could only bring 5 games with you, how many of those games would be from more than 10 years ago versus ones that have come out in the last decade?
Banjo-Kazooie. Halo, Hitman. I'm sorry. Slime Rancher.
Oh, jeez.
And probably Sonic.
No Zelda on that list.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay,
yeah, no.
But so
Zelda should be on that list. So remove Sonic, Zelda.
Most of those are from previous generations, right?
Well, Hitman's Halo.
More than 10 years old. Halo's more than... Those are all considered retro now, you old man.
Oh my god, you're right.
So games, the overall quality...
Slime Rancher's the only one. So they're newer games. These games, Hitman and Halo, are modern. They are current, but they were originally created 10 years ago. Yes. If not more.
So I would say your top favorite games are from previous generations. And I think that's an indication, whether you want to admit it or not, that games were better 10 years ago in the past. And I would also argue that the reason is because over the last 10 years, there have been more casual gamers. Therefore, developers have started to design games more suited towards casual gamers. Therefore, the quality has gone down, making the overall impact of casual gamers more of a detriment than a boon to the gaming industry, which is what we're arguing about.
Yes, I think you're right, and I'm going to support your claim with one ideology that from outside this industry. And we talked about movies. There are very few writers and directors who are creating new content, who are creating new movies. Yes. Most of these things are either sequels, prequels, a copy from a book,
remakes,
or a remake, or it's like The Parent Trap but done with skunks.
Yeah, like, that doesn't count. What? Wait, what? I want to watch that so bad.
Parent Trap but done with skunks?
Yes.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yes. So that's
because of that. I think the gaming industry is falling to that trope, that trap.
So I just wanted to make that point. I didn't want to let that point go before you were going with the drawbacks of.
So yes, hardcore gamers, you people over here.
The counterpunch.
The counterpunch. I think that hardcore gamers, the ones who are whining about the casual gamers muddying the waters, are getting upset with the mobile games really muddying the waters, not the casual gamers muddying the waters. But I understand the ceiling being moved, and therefore the entry levels is a problem. But I think that the hardcore gamers have also pushed the industry so much further that there's now a bigger gap. So mobile gamers are lowering the gap, and hardcore gamers are raising the gap. And I think that's where some of the issue is. And then you can even take it a step further. I actually think that the hardcore gamers, or the professional streamers who are making games, some of them are mostly streaming because they want something easy that's accessible for their viewers, and they are promoting some of the trash games that you hardcore gamers are complaining about.
I have to 100% agree, but I think we need to separate hardcore gamers from streamers, because although there is some crossover, there's different. There was, and I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on saying this person, because I think he's a funny content creator. I think he makes good content, but in the sea of overwhelmingly negative reviews when Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance came out. He was the one person streaming it, trying to make it seem salvageable because it was an ad, because he was working with the developers. And by all means, you get that bag, unnamed streamer. I like your stuff. Please don't be mad at me. But
collect that money. Do what you got to do, bro.
If a game company comes up and pays us, I mean, we're not going to lie to you about a shitty game being good. But he was. Oh, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. Hashtag ad. This, people have to be transparent with that these days. This copy was provided by so-and-so company. I'm being paid, compensated for all this stuff. But my opinions are my own. He was streaming it trying to make it seem good. That is bad. That's a bad practice. It's one thing to give a streamer an advanced copy, because there's a lot of people who got advanced copies of D&D who are like, so I got this copy for free, and I've been playing it for a week before anybody else, and this game is absolute doo-doo butter butt cheeks. Like, real bad. Like, people don't care if you give them a free copy anymore. But the astroturfing of paying people to play it or stream it or talk about it, that's a problem. But beyond that point, vocal minority streamers, especially when it comes to games like, I'll say Overwatch, because I'm not afraid to shit talk Overwatch, pros being like, this is broken, this is broken. I don't know what streamers sound like that. But streamers having really, really polarizing opinions, and then vocal streamers affecting development and balance, and then the game is being balanced around the opinions of streamers, that is bad. That's a bad thing. That's poison in the water.
I will make the argument that Overwatch is probably the prime example of this, but there are many others, that streamers and even esports are the reasons why games like Overwatch got tweaked and changed, and they are no longer the same game they were at release.
100%, 100%.
So I think I say hardcore gamers, but I agree with you. Maybe hardcore gamers isn't the right term. It probably is more like the pro gamers or the streamers.
Update your Smash Corporal. Oh. We're going in.
All right,
we're going in. But yeah, I do agree with you on that point, that although I think casual gamers are overall a more negative influence, that they're not the only negative influence. Higher end pro esports professionals and streamers are toxic as hell.
Yeah. And I think that they are some of what's hurting the industry. And I think esports industry is doing its own damage as well.
Well, some esports industry more than the others. Like, you look at Overwatch League. There has been absolutely no secret that I'm a Microsoft fanboy and that I love Halo. I probably love Halo as much as I love Legend of Zelda. But esports has gotten their claws, but Halo 5 was where they were vocal about it, where they made the online multiplayer so it can be used as an esports platform. Well, the ultimate litmus test is how this is a perfect example of what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. So you have the influence of casual gaming, right? Casual gamers, accessibility, free-to-play games. We'll come back to that in a second. And the influence of hardcore gamers, esports, and streamers. You have esports on the rise, needing to be super important. You also have the casual gamers, free-to-play, cross-platform play with your friends, play all day and night for free, coming to a head. And that head is going to be Halo Infinite, because the whole multiplayer experience is going to try and be the tipping point between those two things. And if they can pull it off, it really is going to be worthy of its name, Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite is the first multiplayer game in the series line that is going to be free to play. They're literally separating multiplayer from the game itself, so it's free to play to everybody, making it that accessibility level for everybody. They are also taking away the pay-to-win platform that like things like Overwatch and
Overwatch was not pay to win.
Not Overwatch. I'm sorry. Star Wars Battlefront was doing.
Yeah.
But they then are also removing the trope of season pass being locked and paid for with only that window by removing that gate. They're doing a lot of good things, and I think you're right. I think Halo Infinite may be what changes the industry.
But it's all going to come down to me, and I think to a lot of people, microtransactions and sort of the business structure of the game aside, is the mechanics. Because that's going to be, it's the same thing. Skill floor, skill ceiling. Are they going to be able to balance the game, make it good enough for veterans of the series and esports people, but also incorporate mechanics that's going to make it a successful free-to-play game for more casual players? It's going to be, that's the most difficult thing in the world thing to do. Yeah. And 2 of their game directors have walked off the job during development. And I don't want to rain on your parade, but that ain't a good sign.
It's not a good sign, but I think some of it is a testament to Microsoft has had no qualms about losing money and putting this game on delay so that they can fix those issues.
After CD Projekt Red was publicly executed by public opinion, yeah, I don't know, yeah. Then
they had to. Well, I think they would have done it because they started their delay speech before CD Projekt Red got executed.
But it makes it a lot more reasonable for them to be like, we're pushing back the game, and everybody's like washing the blood of CD Projekt Red off their hands. They're like, you take your time. You take your time. Microsoft.
So Microsoft announced their delay, and then the CD Projekt Red incident happened like a month later, and then Microsoft's like, we're going to take even longer. And they were like, okay. So, yeah.
Halo Infinite development, that joke has been made before. Anyway, so that's our episode. I still want to hear, we've not come to a consensus, even though I do think I sort of, in a way, got you to admit that the influence of casual gamers is more negative than it is positive with my if you were stuck on an island, which I never thought that metaphor would actually help me prove a point, a legitimate point.
I agree with you that the gaming industry is watered down to a point because of mobile gaming creating a landslide on accessibility for casual.
I don't think you just want to make mobile gaming the root of all evil. It's just such an easy scapegoat.
So, yes, casual. If I'm being honest with myself, casual gamers who are very casual are enticed by the simplicity that mobile gaming provides. And because of that, developers are making their games more accessible in order to capture the casual gaming market. Now, we talked about responsibility versus
accountability. The fault is still on the devs.
The fault, yes. The fault is one. And
same thing with the hardcore toxic streamers who whine and complain about balance. They don't have access to the game files. It's still on the devs at the end of the day, cracking under pressure.
So why is that happening? And a lot of that comes down to dollars. They want to have access to more dollars, so that's why they're opening up the accessibility window. I have no problem with them lowering the skill floor for accessibility reasons, but at the same time, you should then raise the skill ceiling so that there is more.
If your top 5 favorite games were from the last 10 years, I would say that that's the case, but they're not. But for a twist, real talk, if you've made it to the end of this long, very combative episode, you deserve to know a nugget of truth is that as a believer in the free market, that I do think casual gamers are the reason that gaming is bigger than movies and music. Casual gamers are the reason why gaming culture is accepted into the wide stream of our culture. Balance and stuff aside is going to come and go with the seasons of devs and influences and all that. But the fact that games have gone from you're playing in your mother's basement to Drake playing Fortnite, which I've referenced a billion times. The rise of casual gamers has been the rise of video games into mainstream culture. And although the devs are stumbling a little bit with balancing act of making it top quality and appealing to, you know, people who don't have any taste, that is a growing pain, truthfully, I feel, in the industry. But overwhelmingly,
and quite frankly, it's up to you, the listener, to make your voice heard.
Vote with your wallet. Vote with both, like, guys, vote with your wallet for high quality games. Don't pay checks to EA. Just don't do it. That's why they get away with that shit. In
today's day and age, sometimes the wallet's not enough. Twitter works.
Or start a podcast. Amplify your hot takes. So at the end of the day, I think there's a little truth in both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
Truthfully, I can only play devil's advocate so much. I do think casual gamers have helped bring gaming into mainstream culture, and that in itself is a good thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
What's our side? We don't have time for a side quest. Our side quest is...
I have a side quest.
Oh,
I have a side quest.
Jesus. Okay, give us the side quest.
I have a side quest.
All right.
Are you ready?
I don't know. After this whole episode, I'm not sure what I'm ready for.
Corporal side quest. What's your favorite mobile game?
Pokemon Go, for like pure amount of time that I've spent in a mobile game that is culturally, like, Pokemon Go is the mobile game, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I agree.
I might have to just open this for a second. Is Among Us a mobile game?
I'm pretty sure it started as a mobile game.
I don't know. I think it launched as Steam and then came out.
Oh, did it launch as Steam? Okay.
Flappy Fighter is so damn good. You can't get it anymore. You can't get it anymore because I'm pretty sure Capcom went after them for encroaching on some Street Fighter type stuff, which is absolute bull. But Flappy Fighter was an amazing mobile game. Amazing. The only legitimate fighter that ever graced a mobile platform. Yeah, no, it's Pokemon. It's Pokemon Go for me. I can't even pretend like it's anything else. How about you?
I am looking at what I've got as far as games right now, and because I'm on a new phone, most of my games aren't here, but it's a different, like, company every single time, but, like, I think the one mobile game that I play the most of is Tetris and Solitaire. I play those games.
Did you just call Tetris a mobile game? You go this whole episode saying mobile games aren't gamers, blah, blah, blah. And then when we ask what your favorite mobile game is, you say the grandfather of all puzzle games. You indignant bastard. What's your favorite mobile game? Tetris. That's a mobile game.
Tetris is... there's like 9 games that I have on here. Tetris, Pokemon Go, Solitaire, Sonic Dash, Among Us, Candy Crush.
Never got into Candy Crush. Played it for like 15 seconds.
Wordscape.
Okay.
Will you match the letters to make words?
Oh, yeah. All right. Everybody, that's our show. We're gonna go somehow find the gumption to stream Smash right after this, which is going to be obviously nothing to you because you're going to be listening to this in the future. But yeah, check out our streams. We stream Tuesday nights, Friday nights, Sunday afternoons, and it's fun. We do fun stuff. You should come by. He might make.
We need input on this episode. Seriously, there was a lot of conversation that was covered in this, and there's a lot of different opinions that were covered in this.
I just want to know what people think. Are mobile gamers real gamers, and are casual gamers overall a good thing or a bad thing for the gaming industry?
Honestly, find us in the comments, find us on Instagram, find us on Twitter. I don't care. I really want, like, out of all the episodes we've ever had, we've asked for opinions. Like, I really want your opinion on this. So immediately go find the comment section wherever you're listening to this and give us your take.
Yeah. If you're listening to it on like Anchor or like Spotify, shout out Spotify listeners, and there's no comment section, Facebook. Just go to Facebook and shoot us a DM, or Instagram and shoot us a DM, because that's the most common ones.
Or we have a group and you can just make your public post.
Yeah. But yeah, I am curious to see, because we've done a lot of like roundup games and talking about either specific games or like a list of like top 10 games to play on the toilet or whatever. And then we also do games or episodes like this where it's more philosophical, more theme oriented versus more game oriented. And we're curious for the future planning of our episodes what type of content you guys prefer. We try to balance it, but we probably do less of these type episodes, but we want to know which one you guys like more so we can make more of them. So, do that. Do it! Thanks for tuning in. This has been a fun episode. Peace out, everybody. See you next time.